In this video, how to be an asshole, we're going to talk about how to be an asshole living in the college dorms. There's just a few tricks you got to do. Basically, you pretend you're the only person in the dorms. Don't worry about your neighbors. Don't give a fuck about your neighbors, you know? Always borrow their stuff without asking. Hit on their girlfriend or their boyfriend or whatever. You know, you want to do that stuff. Ask them for their food. When you take a shower, make a mess, let water run all over the place. When you use the restroom, you know, you leave a mess. You get drunk, vomit in the sink, you know, be loud and obnoxious. You want to be an asshole. Because you want to make sure that the person who's, the person, roommates or neighbors or whatever, you want to make their life a living hell. Be a racist, you know. I had a fat ass living in the dorms when we were in the dorms. He was basically a racist. He got kicked out of the room where these 5 black dudes were living because of his remarks. You know, you want to be like him. He would be a good instructor on how to be an asshole. He was perfect at it. He was a graduate student. How he got into grad school is beyond me. But always wanting people's food, always being obnoxious, getting drunk, bringing strangers over. You know, I mean strangers over to do some things they shouldn't be doing. Vomiting in the sink, peeing on the floor. You want to be like that. That's the asshole you want to be. You know, also, you know, if you a little bit later on you get an apartment, you want to be an asshole by making a lot of noise, having your radio up. The same thing in the dorms. Have your radio up, TV, and everything else. Music blasting, television blasting, everything. You don't want your neighbors to study or sleep. Why do that? You're in the dorms. Don't give a fuck about your neighbors. You want to be an asshole. You got to be an asshole to your neighbors by being loud and obnoxious and being rude. You want to get in their way. You want to just walk in the rooms uninvited, look in their rooms when they use the restroom. Just be rude. Just be obnoxious. Do not be nice to the custodial staff, you know. I mean, they're just making a minimum wage and they're uneducated, so why treat them with respect? Go ahead and vomit in the sinks that they have to clean up. Leave your feces in the toilet. Don't flush it. They are the ones that have to clean it, or your neighbors if you're in the actual dorm. You know, take their beers. Get like mind-boggling drunk. I mean drunk as fuck on your own and just be obnoxious. I mean, that guy, I'm not going to say his name, but damn, he could teach you give you some skills. And I've heard from other people, like for example, you know, women not washing their in the women's dorms, women not washing their own dishes. They leave the stuff in the sink for it to rot and smell. Guys generally just buy TV dinners. I cook my own food, but at least I wash my food. Also, if you do wash your dishes, you know, oil and all that stuff, let it get in other people's stuff. Don't worry about that. Don't give a fuck. Don't apologize for anything if they tell you, you know, you're doing something that is bothering them, because, you know, we're all going to do something that bothers someone. But you want to be the asshole and not give a fuck. Threaten them for telling you that, you know, there's something they're doing that you don't like, you know? Threaten them. Threaten violence. Be stupid. You want to be loud and obnoxious. You just want to be rude. You know, in apartments, the same type of thing. You want to be obnoxious. You know, dump your cars. You know, if you have a broken down car you don't want anymore, just dump it in the apartment complex that belongs to poor people. You know, who cares about poor people? They're poor. You gotta be an asshole. You don't care about your neighbors, whether it's in the dorms or if you are lucky to buy a house. If you're lucky to get a decent job after college, you're one of the few people that actually get a decent paying job after college. One of the 3%. Good for you. Now, just be obnoxious to all your neighbors. Be rude. Party all the time. You know, dorms or whatever. Just do nothing but party. Every day. Don't care about your neighbors. Who cares? You know, some of your neighbors may have to work through college because they're poor. But you're not. So why give a fuck about your poor neighbors? You know, be loud and obnoxious. Don't care about your neighbors. You know, if they're poor and they have to work and they have to really study because after all, they don't have mommy and daddy to fall back on like you do. Be rude. Be obnoxious. Don't think about your neighbors. Who cares about your neighbors? You are the center of attention. Remember, that's the hallmark of being an asshole, is thinking of yourself. Just like being an asshole means you gotta be racist and sexist type of prick too. And also, if you want to be an asshole, if you're a female and you want to be an asshole, have sex with a guy, regret it later on, and then accuse him of sexual assault, even though that's not truly sexual assault. You're just making it seem like women cannot make decisions. That's really what you're doing. And also get drunk with a guy and then and when you have sex, accuse him of sexual assault. In both cases, why not? Make it look like women can't handle alcohol or make decisions. Because you want to be the asshole. That is the whole point of your life, is to be the asshole. There's no reason to think of your neighbors, think of others. Why would you do such a thing? Screw people over. That's what dicks do. But that's also what assholes do. The only difference is assholes sometimes get fucked by dicks. Be an asshole. Be rude and obnoxious. Just run over all your neighbors. Who cares if they're trying to learn and better their lives and trying to get a good job? Only about, like 3% of people that go to college actually get a decent paying job. Most people end up in dead-end jobs, making no money or anything. Of course, nobody ends up making less than I make, but hey, that's besides the point of the video, right? You don't want to be a loser like me. Please watch my video on how not to be a loser. You do not want to be like me. And also watch my videos about, awful truth about college. You do not want to end up like a loser like me. You do not want that. But being an asshole, that's great. Don't think about your neighbors. Who cares about them? Who cares about neighbors? Be rude and obnoxious. If you live in an apartment, stand in front of their apartment and talk loud with your friends and then complain if they can hear you, or if they're not necessarily looking out the window, because they can hear you, so it's not like they have to look out the window, or they're getting something off the table to eat or something. Say something like, "Oh, look, our neighbor's listening to our conversation again." When of course is your dumbass being in front of his apartment instead of your apartment, or in your apartment. Or do that in the dorms too. Be rude and obnoxious loud. If you're a woman and you're going into a guy's dorm and he asks you not to make too much noise, be loud and obnoxious and tell him you don't care about his neighbors, that you're going to be loud anyways. I've seen that a lot when I was in the dorms. That's what you got to do, to be the asshole. When you're moving out of the dorms, don't try to think about other people that have to be in your dorms and the fact that you have to be out at a certain time and they have to be in at a certain time. Who cares if you have to be out by noon and they have to have moved into that room by 2 o'clock? Take your sweet time. Who cares that might take a long time? They'll go over and have to pay extra. You don't care, Why would you care about your neighbors? Don't worry about them. Be loud and obnoxious. Slam phones and doors. Of course, I don't think people have phones too much now. But, slam doors, Smoke that weed and get people in trouble. Bring neighbors over. Bring women that are drunk. If you live in the dorms, bring women that are drunk or on drugs. After all, the innocent guy that's not part of your little thing, let him get in trouble too when that female decides to accuse everybody of rape. Because she's going to. Because you gotta be the asshole. Don't think about all your neighbors. Who cares about your neighbors? You want to be an asshole. That means you cannot think about your neighbors, but your dorm mates, your neighbors, your people. If it's apartment-style dorms like I lived in, you don't think about any of them. If you live in an actual apartment, don't think about the people in the apartments. Who cares about them? You don't need to care about them. Why give a fuck, right? You're the most important person in the world, not them. Think only of yourself. Why would you care about your neighbors? The biggest part about being an asshole is only thinking of yourself. Make noise, be loud and obnoxious. Leave trash everywhere. You want the roaches and stuff to come along. Leave toilet paper all over the floors, Use other people's stuff without asking, and don't give anything back. Just be rude and obnoxious. You want to be an asshole. You want everybody to remember you as that neighbor that they hate. Well, thanks. Feel free to like, subscribe. Feel free to watch any of my other videos. Or leave a comment. Thanks.